Will the House please come to order and members kindly take their seats? Good afternoon. The devotional today will be led by Representative Thomas Charlton of Chester.
Kine matov umanaim shevet achim gam yachad. Did you follow that, Sean? No. It's the opening line in the original language of Psalm 133. And it conveys about as much meaning to most of us as the way we've translated it for 400 years, which is, behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren and sistern to dwell in unity. And where we get lost in the translation is that first word, behold. We don't use it a whole lot anymore unless it's a parody. You rarely hear it in a committee room. I never hear it. Can you imagine? Behold the housing bill. Okay, it's worthy, right? In its original language, it has a focus, a sharpness to it, almost an element of surprise. It's look at this. Look at this, check this out. It's to draw attention to something somewhat unexpected and very worthy of attention. And it's probably understanding that, not a surprise that it is used to describe brothers and sisters getting along. Look, it's working. If you've parented, you've had these moments. It goes on to describe how good and how pleasant this is by comparing it to precious oil on the head, running down on the beard of Aaron, running down on the collar of his robes. So yes, unity among brothers and sisters can be messy, a little unpredictable. And this imagery is of Aaron, the high priest in the Old Testament, being consecrated for divine service. Now, I have it on good authority that 3 out of 5 committee chairs do not want us to pour oil over their heads as an act of honor. And I want to be clear for the record that I'm neither advocating or voting for that. But it's in the historical event, anointing Aaron or anybody else for the priesthood was just that. It was just an anointing. But the image here is of dumping the whole bucket of blessing. It's superlative. It far surpasses what is necessary to indicate that something's been consecrated. Beyond that, there's one more image here. The whole psalm is 3 verses long, and you're probably relieved. Shortest bill we'll ever hear. It is like the dew of Mount Hermon, which falls on the mountains of Zion. And the Mount Hermon is 9,000 feet high, and it's in the northern part of the land. There's snow up there all year long. The dew is drenching wet in that region to the north. And it's wonderful if you want to get your boots soaked first thing in the morning. But about an 8 or 10 hour drive south, you come to Zion, you come to the area around Jerusalem, and it's a desert. It is very arid, and from May through September, it doesn't rain a drop, but you do get the dew. And the dew is what the vineyards thrive on. It's what those big, wide grape leaves absorb. That's all the moisture they get while they're growing and producing that harvest. And it's an image of something that is more than sufficient to produce something wonderful in the future. It's important, I think, to note, and maybe it's intuitive to realize that unity is not the same as uniformity. It's not the same as agreement. It's not the same as unanimity. It's simply the notion that somehow we are a unit. We're on one team. We are on the same team. It is almost surprising. It's superlative in how good it is. It's remarkable. Now, I am new to politics, but I wasn't born yesterday. And I do hear every once in a while little comments and conversations, and not always in earnest, but every once in a while is, well, you got to watch out for those Republicans or Democrats or whoever, or Klingons, whatever it is. You know, they're great people, but they're not really your friend. And I have to say, politics is a matter of what I think. Unity is a matter of who I am. And it may be that over the course of the years, somebody here might not like me. and that's up to you. But my goal is that that will never be because I am unwilling to be your friend. I look at the world around us, and it is a flying circus of acrimony and caustic comments and unwillingness to hear anything, let alone listen well. And I figure that for 250 years, Vermont's been determined to do whatever Vermont wants to do. And I would love it if, as people cast their eyes across the whole globe and how much fractiousness there is, that they look up here in the Northeast and they say, look at that. Behold, the Vermont General Assembly. They're amazing. And we can be. Thank you.
Are there any announcements? Member from Westminster.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today we had 40 students and many dozens of prevention professionals from around the state gathered for Prevention Day. They attended sessions of our legislative committees. They had some meetings across the street at the Capitol Plaza. They had a display in the card room, and a few of them are still here in the chamber. So let's welcome and show appreciation for people doing this important work.
Will the guest of the member from Westminster please rise and be recognized? Member from Montpelier.
Madam Speaker, I was distressed on Tuesday to come in and find a small cow perched on my desk. And I was horrified when I realized that these miniature bovines had been put on every member's desk. It was very unsettling. So I took the cow up to the Waterbury Forensic Lab, and I have access because I'm on the corrections committee. The team told me they were able to trace the DNA sample back to the town of Bradford, Vermont. Now, Madam Speaker, I don't have the benefit of your seating chart. I didn't even know Bradford was a town until I heard that. But I do hope that we find this horrible villain and hold them accountable to the fullest extent of our powers as a House. Thank you.
Are there any further announcements, member from Newport City?
Madam Speaker, during my short period of time here in the House, I've had wonderful and caring seatmates, with maybe one exception. And no one knows the troubles that I've had from that nameless member, but I digress, Madam Speaker. What I did want to do today is to bring attention to the floor and recognize my current healthcare seatmate, whose district is Franklin 7, and he lives in Enosburg Falls, actually. He's a friend to everyone who meets him and knows him. And it's his birthday today, and I would ask the body to please recognize this milestone. Thank you.
Happy birthday, member. Member from Coventry.
Madam Speaker, I move that your House Committee on Commerce and Economic Development be relieved of S-125, bill of workers' compensation and collective bargaining rights, and the same be committed to your Committee on General and Housing.
The member from Coventry moves that the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development be relieved of Senate Bill 125, which is an act relating to workers' compensation and collective bargaining rights, and that the same be committed to the Committee on General and Housing. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have relieved the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development of Senate Bill 125 and committed the same to the Committee on General and Housing. Are there any further announcements? Member from Vergennes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In addition to the guests from Westminster, we're also joined by a group of students and educators from Vergennes here for Prevention Day. I had a great time showing around the building, having conversations around policy development in and around prevention, and ample opportunity to take a few photos with them and show them the historic building we work in. I'd just like the body to help me welcome them. They're seated in the gallery.
Will the guest of the member from Vergennes please rise and be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Member from Barrytown.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There's a very important person in my life here in the gallery today. It's my oldest daughter, Kate, and she's here. She testified before a committee earlier, and today is her birthday also. So I wish that you could help me welcome her to the house and wish her a happy birthday.
Will the family member or the member from Barrytown please rise and be recognized? And happy birthday. Are there any further announcements? Seeing none. Member from Essex.
Madam Speaker, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we also embarrassed another birthday boy who had a birthday yesterday that went under the radar. We used to joke when I was on House Transportation that there was literally no experience on this planet that the member from Heinsberg had not engaged in. He can tell you about everything from apparently tobacco farming to riding a bicycle, I mean, all over this nation, it seems like. Just an amazing person, an amazing soul that I'm so grateful to know. So if you could please help us wish a belated but very heartfelt happy birthday to the member from Heinsberg.
Happy birthday, member. Are there any further announcements? Seeing none. Orders of the day. Members, we have one bill on our action calendar today. That is Senate Bill 9, which is an act relating to after-hours access to orders against sexual assault. The bill was referred to the Committee on Judiciary, which recommends that the House propose to the Senate to amend the bill as printed in today's calendar. The member from Sheldon, Representative Oliver, will speak for the committee. Please listen to the second reading of the bill.
S9, an act relating to after-hours access to orders against sexual assault.
Member from Sheldon.
Madam Speaker, the purpose of S9 is to allow a person to obtain an emergency protection order against sexual assault outside of regular court hours in the same manner that emergency domestic violence orders are obtained. Issuance of these orders is a civil process that is separate from any criminal investigation or prosecution that may occur. In 2006, the legislature established a process whereby a person who is alleged to have been subjected to stalking or sexual assault could obtain a civil order of protection if they were not eligible to obtain a domestic violence order because the alleged perpetrator was not a family or household member. These statutes are modeled after the domestic violence orders and allow a person to obtain a temporary emergency protection order that is valid for a maximum of 14 days until a final hearing can be held regarding a final order. Currently, the emergency orders against stalking or sexual assault cannot be obtained on nights or weekends like domestic violence orders. The bill is in page 1220. If anybody would like to follow along, I'm just going to go through the sections quickly. Section 1, 12 VSA subsection 5134. This section clarifies that it is only orders against stalking that must be obtained during regular court hours. Section 2. Current law provides that a defendant who is present in court at the time an order is issued is considered served. The amendment provides that in such a case, a copy of the order will be mailed to the defendant and need not be delivered by a law enforcement officer. This section directs the court administrator to, Section 3, this section directs the court administrator to establish procedures to ensure access to orders against sexual assault after regular court hours or on weekends and holidays. The court is to designate an authorized person to receive requests for such submitted after regular court hours, including requests that may be made by reliable electronic means. The affidavit may be sworn to or affirmed by administration of oath over the telephone. The authorized person will communicate the contents of the complaint and affidavit to a judge via telephone or other electronic means. Then the judge will decide whether to grant or deny the complaint and issue the order and notify the authorized person who will communicate it to the applicant. If the order is issued, it will be delivered to the appropriate law enforcement agency for service. Section 4, the effective date. This section establishes an effective date of September 1st, 2025 to allow the court to establish the procedures and staffing necessary to implement the policy changes made in this bill. House Judiciary took testimony from Victim Rights Director, Vermont Legal Aid, Team Legislative Counsel, Office of Leg Counsel, Director of Policy, Vermont Network Against Domestic and Sexual Violence, Legislative Attorney, Vermont Department of State's Attorneys and Sheriffs, Chief Superior Court Judge, Vermont Judiciary. The Judiciary Committee voted out S9 favorably with a vote 9-0-2. Thank you.
The question is, shall the House propose to the Senate to amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Judiciary? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have proposed to the Senate to amend the bill. Now the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Are you ready for that question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and third reading is ordered. Members, that completes the orders of the day. Are there any announcements? Seeing none. Member from Poultney, can you please offer us a motion to adjourn until Friday, April 4th at 9:30 a.m.?
Madam Speaker, I make a motion this body stand in adjournment until Friday, April 4th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m.
You have heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and this body stands in adjournment until tomorrow.